So welcome friend. So today is day 6 and first of all I will discuss the solution of problem of day 5. So we have two problems of day 5 and the question 1 was we are having a cuboid of longest length 12 and the other side length L. Set A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H. So there is a midpoint of A, B, say M and midpoint of G, H, say N. So I am having a charge at M and I am slowly, slightly moving it along M towards Mn. Slightly for a small distance r. That means r is given to us too small, then L. There is one very concept I want to use in this question is when a point charge is well away from a plane surface and it is slightly moved as compared with the distance from the plane surface, the flux do not change through that plane surface. If a point charge is well away from a plane surface along normal and it is slightly moved, the flux do not change through that plane surface. So what I want to ask you, when it is at M, can you tell me what is the flux through, when it is at M, what is the flux through E, F, G, H and flux through E, F, G, H, and you can see here from the symmetry flux through E, F, G, H. When the point charge is placed at M, then the flux through E, F, G, H is equal to flux through E, F, G, H and equal to the flux through D, C, G, H. Okay, so flux through E, F, G, H is same as D, C, G, H because both EFGH and ECGH have the same dimension, say a rectangle of side length 12 and L, and this is along normal to the plane of that, okay, from the center of the longest side. This is M and this is. So the flux through both of them will be equal, and how much it will be, that I can get easily. Say I take a midpoint of EF, say this is the midpoint of EF, say P, let P. So if I join it, so you can see EP NH is a square of side length L because this is 12, so this is midpoint. So L, this side length is L, this is L, this is L, and this is L. So it's a square of, in fact, EP NH. So what is the flux through EPNH? So EPNH is a square of side length L and this point M is along the perpendicular to this plane of this square at side length equal to L. So in this case you know well, where we are having a point charge placed from a square plate of side length L. You can place a point charge along normal of equal length side length L along normal from the corner at equal length L along normal. So the flux is going to be Q by 24 epsilon naught from this square, because you can create a cube. So through the total cube the flux will become Q by 8 epsilon and that will be symmetrically divided in 3 surfaces. So ultimately in this case the flux will be Q by 24 epsilon. So the same will happen here for this surface EPNH. So for EPNH the flux will be Q by 24 epsilon. But similarly, the same flux will be there for NGFT. So combinedly for this whole surface, I can easily say the flux is going to be, flux is through this, and this is twice of this, and through this the flux is Q by 24 epsilon. So 2 into Q by 24 epsilon. So I can say here the flux through these two surfaces is going to be Q by 12 epsilon. Now, through these two surfaces, the flux is Q by. And now what is the flux through BCGF and DHEA? So they are square. In fact, BCGF and DHEA is actually a square of side length L. So for a square of side length L, the point M is along normal. So this condition is satisfied by point M also. So I am getting the flux through BCGF equal to flux through ADHE, and that is Q by 24 epsilon naught. Because these are the square and this is along the normal, this condition is being satisfied. So you know, these are the, when I am slightly moving this point charge from M towards N, slightly, say this point is say M dash, I am taking it to M dash, and R is 2 less than L, that is given. So slightly I am moving it. So slightly moving this point charge from M to M dash is not changing the flux through these surfaces, because these surfaces are well away from this point charge, and the distance along normal is a very slight change, so flux change may be low. Okay, so these are the flux through these surfaces when the charge has moved to M dash also. But now when the charge has moved to M dash, now what is the net flux through this whole surface? Whole cube is Q by epsilon, because this charge is now the inside point. So the whole flux through the whole cube is going to be, the flux through the whole cube is going to be, flux through the whole cube, I can say now, the flux net is Q by epsilon naught. Now I am going to break the net flux in through these two surfaces, the surfaces which are symmetrically placed, say for example these two surfaces. If I talk of these two surfaces, what are these two surfaces? This EFGH and DCGH going to be unchanged. So there are total 6 surfaces. Of it, the 4 are these two and 4 are these two. So combining all these fluxes, the 4 fluxes, say double of this one plus double of this one. So this is going to be 2 into Q by 12 epsilon plus 2 into Q by 24 epsilon naught plus, very interesting, plus the flux through ABCD. I am asked flux through ABCD, but you can see with this arrangement the two surfaces ABCD and ABFE are still symmetrical. The two surfaces are symmetrical. Even if I am moving it along the from M to N, these two surfaces ABCD and ABFE are still symmetrical, and they are going to have the same flux, and that is being asked. Let this flux be phi dash. So this comes out to be 2 phi dash, and that gives us total flux. So the total flux through the tube is this. So this is phi dash. The question that has required us is say phi dash. Now the flux through ABCD, I am considering phi dash. So I assume here the flux through ABCD. Flux through ABCD is phi dash. That is my assumption. So the total flux is coming out to be this, and this 2 phi dash plus this sum is going to Q by epsilon naught. So solving it, what I get here is phi dash is, you can see, 3Q by 8 epsilon. Just check it. So this is the required answer. The flux through ABCD is required, and that is 3Q by 8 epsilon. So it's an example of a symmetry, and along with the symmetry, I am using one particular point along with the symmetry, that if a point charge is placed well away from the normal to a plane surface, and I am slightly moving it, the change in flux is negligible. So we can use that in so many problems when the charge is at the corner and it is coming inside, or it is going outside. So in those type of questions, this concept is going to be very useful. So this is the answer, and in fact I got this answer correct. In fact I got both the answers correct, that I will discuss now. The already we will also be discussed. So in any way, this was the question 1. So we have discussed the question 1, and now we will move to the question 2. So after question 1, I will move to question 2. So let me move to question 2. After question 1, I will move to question 2. So no problem. I will move to question 2 then. Okay. So first of all, let me move to question 2 then. Thank you. But before that, as usual, I will take a snap of this answer. So the snap is taken. Okay, I am now moving to the next question. And the next question, question number 2 of this day. In fact, it is again a modified problem of the aerodope. In fact, there is a problem in aerodope. This is a fixed pulley as described in the question. And we are having two masses suspended from it. Here I have given the values 2m and m. And if the friction was not there, this is a fixed pulley and friction was not there, you can easily see the equation could be the difference of mass by sum of mass, that is 2m minus m by 3 mg by 3. But here, since the friction is there and uniformly rough, in the question we are given the 2m is coming down with equation g by 4, and there is uniform roughness between string and pulley, that is mu is same throughout between string and pulley, and it is coming down with g by 4. What is the tension at the topmost point of the string? That is the question. So let it be point P. So I am asked about the topmost point of the string. What is the tension? So I am concerned with calculating tension at point P. That is my question. And equation is given g by 4. So if this point is say A and this point is B, you know tension at A is going to be same as that on the block. So tension at A I can easily get from the body 2mg minus TA is equal to mg by 4. So solving it, I am getting TA is equal to 3mg by 2, and here TB is equal to, in fact here I am getting TB minus mg, and like here if tension is TB, it is TB here. So I am getting TB minus mg is equal to mg by 4. So TB comes out to be 5 by 4 mg. So I am getting TB equal to 5 by 4 mg. So this is thing is not, but I am asked about the tension at the topmost point. So one may get viewed that this tension will be mean of these two, but that won't be correct, because here the tension variation will involve the circular funda of circular motion. What is the funda of circular motion? If I consider say an element, if I start from B say, and if I consider a small element on the of the string say at angle theta and of angular width d theta. So length of this element is going to be, this is angle theta, and so you see here if the tension at this point is say T, at this point say I am considering the tension T. In fact T is varying from here to here. So at this point if I consider T, and the variation in tension if I consider dt, so at this point the tension is T plus dt. So that is the variation for this part only. So effectively, in fact, it is a curve. Whenever a string makes a curve, you know the force toward the center of that curve is going to be T theta. That I can use always. In fact, whenever a string is making a curve, the tension, the net force due to tension for on a small element towards center is going to be T theta. That is the well-known concept used again and again. I can prove that also, but this is a well-known fact. Whenever a string is making a curve, the tension force for a small element of the string towards center is going to be T theta. So here I can say the force towards center is going to be T theta, and this T theta is actually balancing it being balanced by the normal direction here. So the normal direction value here for this element is dn, and then the friction comes out to be here. In fact, it is moving like this, so friction will come in this direction, this df. So df is going to be mu dm, and this df is actually creating the tension difference. Difference in tension is created by df. So if I take this dt, this difference is only created by the friction. In fact, friction is the only tangential force on this part of this element of the string, and whenever there is a tangential force on the string, it always leads to difference in tension. So this tangential force is responsible to create the difference in tension. If I make the ability of this small element, you see, I take a separate leave this element. So this is dn, this is friction. At this point tension is there T, and at this point T plus dt is there. So if you equate the forces here, T plus dt is equal to T plus df. So df is what? Dt, and dt is what? Mu dn. So we are getting this dt is equal to mu dn, and dn is what? dn is T theta, that I already discussed, T theta. So the dt is going to be mu T d theta, and this is the equation that is guiding me in solving the relation of tension with the angle. So if I am taking theta like this, so I am getting dt by T is going to be mu d theta, and if I take the angle from B to P, so it's going to be from 0 to pi by 2, and here I am getting TB to TP. So here solving it, I am getting ln T and ln TP by TV. So ln TP by TV, where TV equal to mu pi by 2. In same manner, if I take from P to A, point from P to A, I am getting ln TA by TP equal to mu pi by 2. If I take from P to A, if I take the string, consider the string from P to A with the same logic, I am getting ln TA by TP equal to mu into pi by 2. So ultimately I can say TP by TV is equal to TA by TP. So at the topmost point, if I equate these two equations, I am getting TP is under root TA TV. So at the topmost point, the tension is root of TA and TV, and if I put the values of TA and TV, I am getting what? So I am getting root of that 3 by 2 and 5 by 2, 15 by 8. So root of 15 by 8. So that is my answer. So the answer of the second question is this one, under root 15 by 8. So as usual, I have, this is the day 6, and for 5 days, one day I did not get any answer. In the last day, no correct answer I should say, because the way in which he has answered it seems that he has hit the concept of one of the problem, but the calculating answer he has got something wrong. But yesterday, after submitting the question, say in half an hour, he has submitted both the answers correctly, and the reward for the day 5 goes to Rishit Singla of MBN School Sector 70. As usual, say you can say now, because I am seeing it now. I have given the award for 5 days. In fact, 5 days now. For 1 day, no award was given. For 4 days, award was given. So for 3 days, I have given the award to Rishit Singla, and 1 day to Bhavik Chandana of Modern DPS. And I see the promptness in the reply of Rishit Singla. Whenever I submit the question, within half an hour or 20 minutes, say 10 minutes, say he gets the answer correctly, and most of the time his answers are correct. So the award for the day 5 goes to Rishit Singla. Congratulations, Rishit, and I hope you will continue doing like this only. And also, I would like more people to participate in that and get the reward. And apart from the reward, the question basically aims at hitting your concept and increasing your concept and increasing your concept ability, because every point that I am discussing here is somewhere going to create your concept, and that is going to help you a lot in your preparation for IITJ, that I believe. So in any way, both the questions of yesterday are discussed now, and now I am going to put up the question of the day. So we are again moving with the 2 questions. So the solution of day 5 is discussed. So now I am going with the 2 questions that we have already have in the mind. So the first question I am going to take up today is that of question 1. I am taking up is again from the laws of motion. As I told you, I will take up the 2 problems, one from the 11th and one from the 12th. So I am going to take the question from the syllabus of 11th and 12th. So first of all, I am going to take up a question from the syllabus of 11th, and this problem is again from the laws of motion. Here we are having an ellipsoid. In fact, quarter of an ellipsoid is given to us. This is quarter of an ellipsoid. See, this is the quarter of an ellipsoid, and this has got a dimension. This quarter of a ellipsoid has got a dimension. In fact, this length is given to us, quarter of an ellipsoid, this length is given to us, which is 2a, and this length is given to us a. So you can say this length is 2a and this length is a. So that for this quarter of ellipsoid we are given, and a chain is placed there. In fact, the chain is held under equilibrium as shown in the diagram. So a chain is placed there. So at starting from this point to this point, so this chain is completely covered, the quarter of the curve of this ellipsoid, and here this chain is joined to a string, and the string is passing through a fixed pulley, and then the other end is joining a block. So block B I am naming as, and the system is at rest. And what we are given is the mass per unit length of the chain is given as the mass per unit length of the chain is given as mu, let it be lambda say, okay? And mass per unit length of the chain is given to us lambda, and the friction coefficient between the chain and the table, that is given, chain and this curved surface is uniform, and that is given to us 0.25. So 0.25 is the coefficient of friction between the chain and this curved surface, and the mass per unit length of the chain is lambda, okay? And the system is under equilibrium, okay? The system is under equilibrium, so this is the string that is joining the block, and this whole system is under equilibrium. The system is under equilibrium. The mass per unit length of the chain is mass per unit length of chain lambda is given to us. This lambda is given, so it's a known quantity, and mu is 0.25, okay? And this thing is given to us, you can see here, and so my answer may be in terms of lambda and A and G gravitational acceleration. In what range, my question is, in what range the mass of block lies? This block. In what range if the system is under equilibrium at rest, in what range mass of block B may lie? So that is the question. In what range mass of block B may lie? ब्लॉक बी का मास किस रेंज में लाई करेगा, ये पूछा जा रहा है. इनफैक्ट ये एक रफ एलिप्साइड का क्वार्टर पार्ट है, इसके ऊपर एक चेन लाई कर रहा है. चेन और एलिप्साइड के सरफेस के बीच का कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन मुझे दिया हुआ है 0.25, and the mass per unit length lambda वो भी दिया हुआ है. So mu is given the value wise, and lambda is given symbolically anyway, and this height is A and this is 2A, and the block is keeping the whole system at rest. In what range mass of block B may lie? So that is the question. Okay, so this is question of day 6, first question of day 6, and now I am moving to the second question. So what is going to be second question? Let me see that. Now I think the light is also required. Okay, now the next question is, and again the next question is from the topic of 12th. So the next question I am going to discuss now is the topic of 12th. So the 12th topic is here. Again I am taking a problem from optics. Here I am having a convex lens. This is the convex lens of focal length say 10 centimeter, and I am taking the center, optical center of this as origin, and this line as x-axis, okay, and this line as y-axis, and I am having a bright point object placed at on the axis of this, say point A. Its coordinate is 50, 0 in centimeter. So in centimeter we are having the coordinate of A. Now what I am doing here is, this lens is cut from O, and this is the lower part I am moving, and so I am removing it from here. This is the lower part I am removing from here, so I am making it with the dotted line, and now I am placing it like this. The lower part I am placing like this, almost in contact with this first part, but okay, anyway origin is this one, and this lower part is in contact, but the lower part from wherever I have cut, I have moved it up by distance 1 centimeter, say 1 centimeter. Now the question is, this is the object, this thing has been done, this is cut from here and moved to 1 centimeter up and almost in contact. So, and this origin remains same, and this is axis, this is y axis, and this point objective is at 15, 0. So the question is, what are the position coordinates of the image form? What are the position coordinates of images formed? That is my question. What are the position coordinates of the images formed? So you have to locate how many images are formed and what are their position coordinates, that you have to tell. Okay, so this is the question and day 2, question 2 of day 6. So there are 2 questions I have already given, and congrats again to Rishit Singla, and I want more and more participation. So I would like to advise to your friends also to have the participate. In fact, the joy of solving the question is more important than anything else. So, and apart from that, some concepts lacuna may also be removed while solving these questions. So I would request you all to like my channel and spread the question to your student colleagues and fellows, also your friends also, whoever are enjoying the solving the problem in physics. So that's it for today. Thank you very much.